If you are a foreigner in Cebu, you are already being judged before you even open your mouth. People assume that you have money, you have bad intentions, and why you're here. And if you don't understand this, dating here can be very confusing very fast. If you are new to the channel, my name is Trinidad. I'm 23 years old and I live here in Cebu City as a foreigner. In this video, I'll be doing a breakdown of how dating works here in Cebu City. From the expectations that foreigners have, what the dating culture is like, where things usually go right or things go wrong, and where most foreigners mess up without realizing it. I hope this video will save you time, confusion, and avoid as many mistakes possible when it comes to dating here in Cebu City. So the first thing I want to talk about is you as a foreigner coming to Cebu City. So right off the bat, you as a foreigner will be looked at by everyone, whether you live in the city or in the province. I would say in the province, it's a little bit more unfamiliar to see a foreigner living there, but in the city, it's becoming more normalized to see a lot more foreigners that come in and out, whether they're living here or they are visiting. You will get a lot of stares, and you shouldn't take these stares as something personal because they're not looking at you in a racist perspective. They're looking at you out of curiosity. The first thing, a lot of people have a misconception when you are a tourist is that you have money or a better lifestyle because you're able to afford coming to a developing country. That's why some Filipinos would prefer to choose a foreigner over a local Filipino, because in their mind, they were taught that if you are a foreigner or if you look different from them, then you come from a place of higher class. But one of the underlying truths about Cebu or just living in Asian countries is that a lot of foreigners come to third world countries or developing countries because these men are normally already retired or at the age of becoming retired, and since they have like social security, they use that money to come live in a developing country where the life is a little bit better. If you live in the US, especially California, $2,000 per month can barely get you by, compared to living in Cebu where $2,000 can get you a nice condo such as Solanea. Now, the next assumption that a lot of Filipinos have about foreigners coming to visit or live in Cebu is that they are here for the short term. They never assume that you're here for long term, so that's why you can be called as the vacation boyfriend. I have been in this case a lot of times. The next thing is first impressions and why they matter. So if you are dating a Filipina or going out in public with a Filipina, there's going to be other surrounding people that are making assumptions. Regardless of the age, it's always about the money. She wants to move out of poverty. And believe it or not, the way that she dresses for the occasion will also depend on what type of girl she is. For an example, in a previous video, I mentioned about province girls versus city girls. The way that a province girl dresses, it's a little bit more conservative and reserved. Versus a city girl, she dresses more like a Westerner. From their hair to their makeup to their nails. And sometimes the province girls are influenced by the city girls to dress and act a certain way that kind of taints how their personality was prior to moving to the city. So you as a foreigner will also have to learn how to distinct the two. The next thing I want to talk about is managing your expectations without overreacting. A lot of mistakes that I have noticed from older foreigners is that they provide a certain expectation when it comes to dating Filipinas. And because of that, they take it very personally, both in a negative and a positive way. So for an example, when a foreigner comes here, before they even get here, they start sending some of these girls money. Like, to me, that's really crazy that you are willing to invest financially into this person without even meeting them in person to see how they really are. Some of these girls have a second life and they're just using this guy to help fund for their child that they may have, or maybe afford for the plastic surgery that she wants, like a nose job or Botox or like maybe breast implants. So with that being said, don't set high expectations when it comes to dating Filipinas. First thing you do when you get here is take her on a coffee date, see how she is, talk to her, and from there you start adjusting if you want to further invest into this woman or find someone else. Now, when it comes to dating Filipinas, this is how they normally act. For starters, we're going to talk about how shy they are. For the most part, Filipinos are very shy. You yourself, if you do see that they physically like you, then you would have to go up to them yourself and talk to them. When you go up to talk to them, they're going to be a little bit reserved at first because they think it's weird. They don't want people looking at them and basing assumptions that this girl is after his money. So with that alone, you have to kind of build some type of rapport with her, maybe make her laugh, make her feel a little bit more comfortable with you. And as she gets more comfortable with you over time, then she will start opening up. And because she's quiet, that doesn't mean that she's uninterested. She's just filtering a lot of things through her mind, worried about what other people are thinking, because like I said, status matters a lot here in Cebu City. On a first date, you can probably go as far as holding hands or maybe holding her bag. It's funny because a lot of foreigners like to say that these girls are going to jump on you when that's like not even the case. In some cases, yes, but for the most part, these girls are not throwing themselves at you. Now, depending on how interested this girl is into you, she will, at the very early stages of the relationship, maybe before your first date, she'll probably tell her friend that she is going to go on a date with you. She'll probably go as far as saying what your name is, what you look like, and where you guys are going to go on a date. And in some cases, she will ask one of her friends to come with her to the date with you because you are a stranger. They don't fully trust you. Now, the person doesn't have to be within the same like table as the one that you're sitting on with your date, but the person has to be in close proximity. The biggest mistake that I see a lot of foreigners do is that they commit to a girl virtually before they physically come to Cebu City. I find this so common. I think it's not the right move, and here's why. Online chemistry is very, very different from in-person chemistry. A person can create this type of persona online, and since you're already pre-committed to this girl before you even met her in person, you probably already invested financially into her, emotionally into her, and that kind of pressures you to stay in this relationship. And then when you do get here, most of the girls that you find on these apps such as Bumble or Tinder are not the prettiest girls. I would say you wouldn't know what pretty is until you actually come to Cebu yourself. And then when you compare her to the other girls that you see in Cebu City that are walking like in public areas such as Ayala Mall, IT Park, or any of these cafes, you shot yourself in the foot. So you can either decide to continue this relationship, or you can say, hey, this is not going to work out. I want to find better options. It's up to you. I will say avoid dating apps at all costs and use them as your last resort. I say this because most of these websites do not have the most attractive women. And then on Bumble and Tinder, in my experience, there's a lot of ladyboys, there are scammers, there's girls that use a lot of filters. So when you do see them in person, you don't know what they actually look like. And then sometimes the most prettiest girls I see on these dating apps are most likely transgenders. So again, avoid dating apps as much as possible. Okay, Trinidad, so if you don't want me using dating apps, what do I do instead? This is what you do. You can either go to Google, Instagram, or Facebook. Start searching similar interests that you have. Whether it's running, gymming, clubbing. If you like to work out, the most common gym here is Anytime Fitness. The branches that I recommend you go to is Escario, IT Park, or Oak Ridge. If you're able to afford Anytime Fitness, then this kind of filters out the poor girls from those rich girls. If you like running, I would suggest running here in Cebu Business Park. There is a nice area where a lot of people run, and the peak hours of runners is around 4 to 6. For weekend events, you can go to a place called Atua Midtown. They have their own Facebook and Instagram. I could put it up right here for you to check it out yourself. And a lot of locals like to go there. If you like nightclubs, then here are the 5 nightclubs that I suggest you go to: Trademark, Tagu, Core, 10 over 10, and Verified Lounge. And the thing that I love about these 5 clubs is that they are all in close proximity. And the type of girls that go to these clubs are a little bit more wealthy. I want to give you guys the highest quality women that I can possibly think of. And these are the areas that these girls go to. Here are some cafes that I would even suggest you go and find your Filipino girlfriend. You can go to Common Ground, Dosage, any of the Abaca Baking Company branches, Tightrope, especially the one in Manilad, and Drip and Draft. I suggested these cafes because I've been there personally. I see the type of crowd that goes there, and I see a lot of beautiful girls that go to these places. Because if there's one thing that Filipinas love, is taking aesthetically pleasing photos, whether that's the coffee, their fits. Now, for some of my viewers that are living in Cebu City, if you do know better places, then mention them in the comment section. The second thing foreigners make a mistake on is ignoring early on red flags. It's known girls will sometimes come after your money. If she has a lot of followers on Facebook or Instagram, that's an indication that she may be an influencer here in Cebu City, or she's gaining a lot of followers by tagging her Instagram handle on her dating accounts on Bumble and Tinder. The next thing is lending money early on in the relationship. But a lot of foreigners love to give girls money because that's what they think it takes to have the girl stay with them and not find another foreigner. So don't be like most foreigners and give money to these girls that you never met in person. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, is that dating in Cebu is not hard. It's actually easier to date Asian women in general than it is, I would say, to date westernized women. And most of the problems that foreigners face with bad experiences with Filipinas aren't coming from bad people, they're coming from bad intentions and expectations that can either be set by the Filipina or the foreigner that is dating that Filipina. It goes for either person, not one or the other. I hope this video has helped you save time, money, and unnecessary mistakes. If you have any content ideas that I can do for following videos, please mention them in the comment section. And if Cebu City is on your radar, I would suggest subscribing to this channel because I document what it's like living as a foreigner in Cebu City. Here are some videos that you can watch to learn more about living here in Cebu City. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one.